Up at the top, we select the bean's type, which is a session bean, and it is stateless. The bean class is one of the classes that you added to the jar. It's the count bean class. The remote home interface is ccount home. The remote interface is ccount. And that specifies everything you'll need for the bean class. This is a very simple bean, and there are no transactions and no security, no database access, environment settings, or whatnot. The bean can manage itself. There is no need to set up the container to do all of these things. We just take the default. Then selecting Finish brings us back to the main window. But things are now a bit different. There's now a bean that's listed as being inside the application. Now wait, it hasn't been deployed yet. It's just set up this way inside the deploy tool. Anyway, there's one more thing to do. Even with all the names that you've entered, you still have to give the bean a name that you will use to find it from inside your program. Here you see a list of all the beans that are included in this application. There's only one, but it doesn't have a JNDI name. JNDI stands for Java Naming Directory Interface. This name is the one that's used in client programs to find the bean. You can call it anything you like. It's just the name that's put in the lookup table to locate the bean. Let's just call it counter. Now, this is where you will actually find a difference between versions 1.3 and 1.4. In the deploy tool for version 1.4, the JNDI tab does not exist. Instead, you'll find a button labeled Sun Specific Settings, and that button will bring up a window that you use to set the name. Also in version 1.4, you'll find that the default name has already been entered for you. The default name is the same as the name of the bean source file. Anyway, we now need to run the verifier. The verifier can be used to check everything and make sure it's all formed up right and that you've included everything you need in it. It's a good idea to do this even if you're sure that everything is all right. There are just too many things that can go wrong. Now, we're only interested in failures that might come up, so you select the Failures Only button. Now, this top button, the OK button, is the one that runs the test. The test is now running. A message will appear here showing the results. And there it is. This application and everything in it is being given a clean bill of health, so we can close this window. All that's left is to put the application into the server. This window lets you select which application is to be deployed, in case you have more than one, and it lets you select the server to which it is to be deployed, in case you have more than one. Now, the deployment process can build a jar file for you. This jar file contains everything you need to write client programs that will access the bean. You can name it what you like and put it where you like, but I like the default, so I'll just leave it as it is. The process is completed by the Finish button. The list coming up here shows you the activity that's taking place. But the most important part is that line that will appear next to the bottom. This line states that the entire application has been deployed to the server. The very last thing it did was create that jar file to access the bean from a Java program. And we'll be doing that in the next lesson.